Welcome to another episode of Crash Chords Autographs. I, of course, am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon, and I want to start off by thanking my patrons, Rob, MJ, and Case. Thank you for continuing to support this podcast and all the other podcasts I do. You, too, can join in the fun at patreon.com/Stormageddon and give at any level if you want to get a shout-out, $5 or higher, but otherwise, even $1 helps. All of the money that I get from my Patreon goes right back into making the podcasts that I'm making and growing them, expanding, buying new gear, paying for editors, all sorts of different things. So please feel free to support there. Otherwise, a quick subscribe and a review on your favorite podcatcher helps immensely as well. Enough of that business. On to our guests this week. I have two guests, JOATA, which I believe I said correctly because I've listened to his album a lot, and of course the incredible Justine Grove. These two I met at MC Lars and Schaefer the Dark Lord's live show on the Queens Brooklyn border. It was technically in Queens. They were the openers. JOATA was the opener, and Justine played one song during his set, and I think also featured on a song. I met them both that night, fell in love with their music shortly before that show, and have obsessed over it since, and so I was eager to have them both on the show. So I'm really excited about the chat we had. It was a lot of fun. They are inspiring up-and-coming musicians to watch out for. So without further ado, here is my episode with JOATA and Justine Grove. And so I'm honestly just really excited to talk to you both because I'm a big music nerd, as you can tell, as you've seen on my Instagram.
Yeah.
But I've never gone from a fan of music to seeing them live to becoming infatuated with the album so fast. Like, I've been listening to both of your records so much. And I have so many questions.
Thank you.
And so for those who don't know, who maybe didn't pay attention to what episode they clicked on, I am talking with Jose, a.k.a. JOATA, and Justine Grove. And so I got to see you both live, open for MC Lars, which was awesome, especially because typically at nerdcore shows, it's more nerdcore. And I would say that you're in a vein of nerdcore, but there's definitely a ton of other things going on with your music, and it was so nice to have something a little different, especially since Lars is like all over the fucking map.
Spectrum, yeah.
Like, he just does everything. But I guess the first thing I wanted to ask is, how, Jose, did you get into nerdcore? Because I'm guessing you're the link to Lars, because Justine, your music sounds more folksy, kind of pop, kind of rock and roll. And there's elements of that in your whole EP, but like you were on stage with Lars. So where did that come from? How did you connect with Lars and nerdcore?
I met Lars. I'm from Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I went to a Gym Class Heroes show.
Nice.
It was Lars. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Patent Pending from Long Island.
I remember Patent Pending.
And Cobra Starship. That was the lineup.
Cobra Starship.
And it was like...
That's so 2000s. Holy crap.
And it was, I don't even know, maybe $11. And I was infatuated with Gym Class Heroes at the time because I was raised with a lot of hip hop and I always wanted to be like a rapper. And they were like the first band that was like, oh, it's like rap but with a band. You know, like that was like poppy or whatever.
Right, for sure.
And it was at the Webster Theater. I always remember that day. And what's funny about that day is it's funny to say that now, but I was trying to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And the Sashi from Gym Class was standing outside. I didn't know who he was either. I just didn't know he's the guitarist for Gym Class. He goes, oh man, I'm trying to find a barbershop. And I'm like, hey, I can give you, I'm going to get a haircut too. And this dude just randomly gets in the car with me and my mom, who drove me to the show, and we go to the barbershop. And I'm sitting in the barbershop and being like, nobody knows who this is, like, oh my God, And then I went back and then I saw MC Lars. And then the bigger connection happened. I went to see him again, and it was Suburban Legends who were headlining, and it was Patent Pending and MC Lars again. And sorry about that.
It's all good.
And my buddy Chuck, who's like so stoked that me and Lars are talking and stuff, he was I'm like, yo, you have to come to the show. We used to make like little videos on our like the phones weren't as cool. I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
But it was like on the computer, and we had to stand in front of the computer, you know, just to like get the video. And those two albums, the red, I always forget the name of it. The red one with the red cover.
Oh yeah.
And Whales Are Doing Fine by I'm really bad with album names.
Yeah.
Those were like my freshman year of college were like the two albums I just did not. So every time we had a party, I'm like, nobody knows who this band is. I'm gonna play it. And so when I made my friend Chuck come to the show the next time around, and I'm like, oh, you're going to finally meet these guys because they hang out at the merch table. It's not like, you know, they're not diva or anything.
Right.
Like, you'll see them right after the show. This is before like Cobra became like pop, you know, sensation.
Yeah, became humongous.
And then it's funny because to this day, I was in front of Lars, and Chuck goes, and he's going to laugh when he hears this. He goes, who's MC Lars? And I'm like, you're standing literally right you're paying him for your shirt.
Amazing.
And
that's great.
Just to age it, you know, I remember Lars signed my CD. I still have that CD somewhere at my mom's house, and I was using Reason. I had just started to like try to produce, and he like wrote like he signed "Good Luck with Reason 3.0," and that's how long ago that was. And somewhere along the way, I don't even know how we reconnected. It was like 10 years later.
Yeah.
I think I just saw him like playing out again. I mean, he's been playing out forever. And I just hit him up. And you know, I was in a point musically that I was like, oh, all right, I can try to open this. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then same thing. I think the Spanish kind of caught his ear. Yeah. And we kind of just started bonding over that. And he was like one of the first people that like said it right immediately. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, you got it. It's actually an acronym. It used to stand for my full name is Jose Oyola, and it's Jose Oyola and the Astronauts. Then every time I said that to people, they're like, what? And I'm like,
never mind.
You know, yo, I know. And then I had a band before, and then it's just me now. So I'm just like, I mean, it's like a made up word, but now an acronym or whatever you want.
People can make up their own words, but that's really funny. I mean, for a lot of reasons. For one, mentioning Patent Pending, so. I know Joe Ragosa really well. When Patent Pending first started out and when they were touring with Bowling for Soup a lot, I used to go see them a bunch, and I became friends with Joe and Mike and one of the other band members because I just kept seeing them like every summer. Flash forward to I meet my now wife, but when we first started dating, I played The Siren for her and a bunch of other songs. You Spin Me Round, when we started planning to get married, she had some other ideas for our first song, but I was like, I really think if you hear You Spin Me Round, you're going to want to dance to this song. That'd be cool. And so it became our wedding song, was our first dance.
Oh, that's cool.
My brother videoed it, and then I posted it on Facebook and tagged Joe and Mike and a bunch of the others, and Joe was like, dude, you're killing me. You're going to make me cry. This is ridiculous. So, like, I have a personal connection to that scene, and it's so funny that you met Lars through that scene, too. So you both played that show. I realized the song you played live was Air is Cold, right? I didn't realize that until I was listening to your album today, and I was like, how do I know this chorus? Oh, shit, it's from the show. So how did the two of you sync up? Have you guys known each other a long time, or are you old friends? Or
we actually met on Instagram, actually.
I think we met in person that day. No, we met in person a few days before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah. What happened was I was on a streaming site called Go Bridge Live, and you know some people.
I know like the crew, yeah.
So I played there, did the show, and then he contacted me afterwards saying, "Hey, I know who was it that you knew from Go Bridge Live?"
I know Ross. I don't know if he's still there, but I know the main guy, and I'm like Ryan, but I don't think it's Ryan. I'm gonna get all the names. I'm really bad with names.
It's all good.
But I know. I want to say Pete, but it's not Pete either.
Somebody.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. But I remember it just came up on my feed, and I was like, I just randomly clicked it, and then I was like, who's this? You know, dude. And then I heard it, and I found myself listening to it longer than I usually listen to things. So I gotta get these names, but you continue this.
Yeah, but I think that was it, and then he hit me up, and then we kept in contact up until he wanted to do a show with me, and I was like, yeah, I'm so down.
Yeah, it's really funny how
Paul.
That's okay, there you go.
It's funny how the internet brings music together. Like I talk to all the time when I talk about the nerdcore scene, especially. Like if it weren't for the internet, the nerdcore scene wouldn't be what it is. Like it just it feels like a smaller group than it is. Everyone feels closer than they are, and like even like talking about like clicking on someone's like Instagram story and listening to their music. One of my previous guests, Miss So-and-so, who's in the burlesque scene, which I'm a part of, and like we could have met 10,000 other ways, but we met because I clicked on an Instagram story of her music, listened to it and loved it, and then reached out to her through no other connections of anybody else other than seeing it's a beautiful photo of herself as a, and it's just a really striking photo with the song underneath it. And I was like, oh, wow, this looks awesome. And I clicked on it. And the next thing I knew, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I need to book her for the show. Like, it's really crazy how the internet makes music communicated so much easier.
Yeah.
Do you find that, especially considering, like, I know I listen to your albums on Spotify, I found them, they're online, they're on Bandcamp, wherever else, but like, do you find the internet has made it much easier to release music, to make music?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yes.
I mean, I like streaming, but I hate it.
Of course.
Because it doesn't pay the artist anything.
Right.
I mean, it does, but I'm like a sucker for Bandcamp, to be honest. I'm like, just
Totally.
or that, or like every this month I'm doing like every day I buy like a song from every independent artist for $1.
Oh, nice.
And it's just it's $1. The month is 29 days, so I spent $30.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I made 29 bands. Even when I get a notification, even if it's $1, I'm like, I saw somebody bought my song. Which I mean, it's cool, and I like when people do stream it, and reach out. But I just wish the streaming platform took care of the artists a lot more than they're taking care of themselves. But I do think it's easier, but it's also there's a lot more music out now, so I feel like it's harder to get noticed, if that makes any sense. Anybody can record, tapping on the wall and put it on SoundCloud or on Spotify, and it's there mixed with your, whoever, like Justine's album and her new song that she has released and stuff like that.
That's true. I agree with you when you say they don't take care of the artists well, but it does make it easier.
Right. The shareability is like really high for that.
Because I'm new to this whole music thing, so being able to put everything on streaming sites makes it easier to reach out to people and be like, hey, it's here, and then they find me, and I kind of like it. But I do agree with what you said.
I mean, my first thing is always like for me, so like when Lars puts out a new record, like I'll go on Bandcamp and I'll buy it. But then I won't bother to put it on my phone. I'll still just stream it on.
That's
because
usually, that's a good
because for me, it's one of those things where like it's the convenience of Spotify. I've been DJing for almost a decade, and while I would like to own every song I want to play, the convenience of being able to build a custom 2-hour playlist in 10 minutes on Spotify with almost any song is really useful. But that said, I pay for Spotify, I try and pay the artists, or if I'm building playlists, then I go back later and either buy it on iTunes or buy it on Bandcamp. Like, I try and pay for music, especially if I really like it, because I agree. Obviously, it's not a secret that Spotify specifically pays like whatever it is, 1/10 of a penny.
You mean you don't want to carry a Discman around anymore?
It's funny.
And batteries.
Look, in my day, we had Walkmans, which played cassette tapes.
I remember that. What's funny?
DVDs.
Oh my god! I had a mini disc player. Yeah, that's a Discman. So I remember my Discman, when it was dying out of batteries, I would spin the CD to give kind of a jump start so I could close it and be like, you don't have to start by yourself, bro. I got you. And then I got 2 more songs out of those batteries.
Oh, man.
I just remember batteries, period. Is that House of Leaves?
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
I have really bad ADHD, so.
You're fine. The next thing I actually wanted to ask you both was talking more specifically about your music. So starting with you, Jose, the EP that you released, like, you could have easily done everything like Cambio. Like, it could have all been, heavy beats, hip hop, because you do that so well, but you don't do that. You do one song's heavily hip hop, one's a dance song, one's kind of like a folksy kind of rock song, like one's kind of like a pop, like a pop song. Was that conscious when you were writing those songs? Did you want a genre hop like that on that record, or is it just you are so influenced by a ton of stuff and that's kind of how it came out?
I have such bad ADHD. I think that's no. I don't know. See, I came, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a hip hop musician, like a producer. Actually, like Kanye was like, and still to this day is like one of my most influential like artists. And as I got older, I just realized that I could never. Hip hop is so, to me, or at least it's so not aggressive. It's just very upfront and like, and I've never had like the swag I feel back then to be like, I could never freestyle. I could just never. I didn't have the tools. So as I got old, I remember I used to be like hip hop, and then I ran into the Mars Volta, and then I was like, yo, like they sing in Spanish, and I never. And so it opened everything up. And then I got into bands like Battles. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
And I got like everything got really weird. My music got really weird. Like I used to play in a band. I used to play flute with pedals and stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool.
So I went like way like out, and I went to school for physics. So I was just like way like I was like see like you know I'm like nobody's even gonna listen to this because it's so like space droney and spacey. And then I started becoming more like singer-songwriter like around like 22, and I bought a guitar. My grandfather played guitar. I remember I bought a guitar and I was just like, what the hell is this thing, you know? And I never thought of myself like as a singer, I guess, but I used to throw a lot of shows in New Haven, Connecticut, and that's kind of where we had like a little community of musicians, and I kind of like, it gave me the space to try like my voice out.
Sure.
And a funny story aside from that is I remember once the band was established, I had a band, and when I was in college, my my voice lessons teacher told me that I would never be a singer. And ironically, the apartment I ended up practicing in, he lived upstairs. Wow. And I remember he was like, "Oh, who's the voice that's singing?" I'm like, "That's my voice." Wow. And it was so ironic. Being like, remember like 3 years ago, you told me I could never sing. And stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that drives me.
Yeah.
And I think that I do treat everything with a hip hop mentality. I am very competitive.
Sure.
And I like the attitude of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think now I'm finding myself more in the hip hop realm or whatever it is. It's just music to me, so I don't really.
Sure.
Even when people ask me like to categorize it, I have a hard time because I'm like, I just think it sounds good and my voice fits in that groove. So that's it's whatever my timbre sounds like, you know. So yeah, Cambio to me was actually this departing from my like singer-songwriter.
Oh, okay.
So that song, like, I thank Pablo, my producer, because he can I curse on this?
Yeah.
Not like a lot, but he pulled that shit out of me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't, you know, that when I first came into the studio, he goes, "Bro, you're asking for change," and you're like, you know, you're all shy. You know, just like. And I had to really feel the words. My friend Ani made me write the lyrics in a notebook 1,000 times.
Oh, wow.
So you need to know this inside and out because you are departing from your usual thing, and you need to make it your own.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, you need to become comfortable with it, and you're reading, you're not performing it.
Right.
So now I feel like I'm doing. I don't know. I'm finding myself again, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm doing more hip hop. I just like the attitude of hip hop, if that makes any. And whatever I make, you know, you can call it whatever you want, anybody. I just like the competitiveness and the openness. I feel like a hip hop crowd. Nothing against the indie rock crowd, but I've gotten bored with the indie rock crowd.
Sure.
It's just like
I get that.
I want to throw a show or a performance that when you come, like you sing along, or you like. I love Arcade Fire, but I feel like the indie crowd just comes to shows and it's like a thing. And this is not negative or you know, it's just hey, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, not because I want to be here. And it's like I want to play to someone that's gonna react back to me, or like you, when you sent me that message, I was like, "Yo, I can't wait to meet this dude and play these songs." And I'm like, I better play him right. Because this guy's like hoping for the best. So it's stuff like that makes it worth it. And I want people to talk about it after, not just be like, "Hey, I was in the corner with my arms crossed," wishing that I wasn't at the show. You know.
I mean, but I had a blast at that show. I mean, I know, like I said, I know Lars and shit for a while, but like one of my favorite moments is during what's the name of your dance song?
Llévame? Spanish or
English?
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Like dancing with you in the front row, like that was just such like that's what I want from a concert is some kind of interactivity and like the fact that you. And also, like, the as far as the bravado you're talking about, like, that definitely bleeds through to the non-hip-hop songs. Because even, like, Born in the City is kind of just, like, a pop rock song, kind of like a pop punk song. But, like, you have the featured rap verse that you did live, which was awesome.
Chesky's a monster.
Chesky, he's so good. But, like, it blends so well because you're kind of talking, you're kind of singing until you get to the chorus. And then the hip-hop verse comes. It all kind of naturally fits together on your style, and it definitely translated live. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Right. And I thought it was really cool to feature Justine in your set and give her a chance to do a song.
I was honored. I was like, "What? You want me to play like in between your set?" Because he was killing it.
He was killing it. And so my question is, so your album I think has what 8 songs? 7 songs. What made you choose "Air Is Cold" as the song to play live?
Because for some reason it's a fan favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I love singing it too.
Yeah.
A lot of people like really enjoy it. every time I play. And I think it's better with a band, obviously, but
I mean, I thought it was great live.
Thank you. But it is definitely a fan favorite, and it is a meaningful song for me too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in the song, I'm metaphorically talking to life, and life is telling me, this world is a cold, cruel place.
Yeah.
And like I know, and I want to help change it, but I got this and I got that and responsibility, so I don't. So this was kind of, I don't know. I enjoy the song. It's meaningful to me. So.
Sure, and you got to play what people like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I talked to Schaefer. I gave him a little bit of shit about Cat People, which, like, I love that song. It's such a great song. Like the song he closes with. But like, I was like, don't you get bored of playing? And he's like, well, I mean, I made the new beat for it because I wanted to change it up, but like, I would never stop playing that song.
Yeah.
It's the song people want to hear me do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it forever, And there are artists who push back against that, but I think you kind of have to lean into that, especially if you have an established audience. Justine, I want to know about your album. So, for the most part, it's kind of in this folk singer-songwriter vein. Do you... I hear inspirations. Like, I definitely hear the Decemberists in it. I definitely hear some other, like, folk singer-songwriters. Do you attribute the structure of that record and your songwriting to a specific kind of artist that you grew up listening to? Or is it kind of just an amalgamation of stuff you've heard?
I think it's like a just combination of everything, because I grew up listening to hip-hop and R&B, and then on my own I found folk music like Bob Dylan, and then I went into like alternative punk rock. So I put it together. I don't know, it's whatever, like he says, it's just music. It's like whatever comes out, whatever.
You're not like
out.
Going out of your way to write a certain kind of song. It's just how it comes out of you.
It's just, I usually write songs on the guitar. So it's like whatever comes from the guitar and I sing through it. I'm like, okay, this is something to work from there. So it's just, I guess, a combination, I feel like.
I'm curious for both of you, do you write the beats or the music first and then lyrics, or do the lyrics come first then you try, or does it kind of depend on the song, depend on the case?
It depends on the case, because Air's Code I wrote first, and then I went home and then I messed with the guitar and I was like, okay, this is cool, I like this feel. But then certain songs I'll improvise, like I'll play the piano, the guitar, and I'll improvise and just sing randomly. Record it on my phone and I'll go back to it and be like, oh, this is kind of cool, so let me polish it up, let me fix it up, then work from there. Or I would do the beat first and be like, okay, let me see what I can write for this. So it always depends.
It depends per song.
I suck at computers, so and I get too frustrated. I just want like, and I can't do it, so like I throw the computer. It's a mixture.
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes I'll make like a beat, not really a beat. I use a loop pedal.
Okay.
And a guitar.
Sure. Yeah.
And like then I run my bass through it or whatever, and then I just start building it. And then sometimes like Strangers, the second and third verse of Strangers were actually a different song that I was working on. And I had this one song, and I'm like, the first verse was the World Keeps Spinning one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm stuck on this first verse, and I don't know. And then one day I was like, I wonder if this other, and I put them together, and it was like, here you have the song.
Yeah.
To go back a little bit, some of the songs, I do have 2 albums before this, and some of the songs on Como Se Dice are songs that were recorded differently before.
Oh, interesting.
I'm in the belief that a song's never completely done. I mean, now I'm done with them. But it's like, Born in the City, I wrote, I remember I was moving out of my apartment in New Haven. Me and my buddy had this jug of sangria, and I had like this little Casio keyboard. That was the only thing that wasn't packed. And I'm not a really good keyboard player, and I'm like, yo. And I remember I was looping it on a DL4, a Line 6 DL4. And it would take me like 11 minutes just to play because I had to loop everything first. This homie from Chicago named Nether Friends, he kind of got me into the looping, like, oh, I can write songs by myself because I can just loop stuff and then keep building on top, layering, and then eventually take whatever is not needed. So I forgot where I was going with that, but
you're just talking about the songwriting process.
It's sweet. Now with Pablo, it's kind of like I present them like the skeleton of the song. Like I write the lyrics and stuff like that, and I'm just like, this is what I want it to sound like. When I songwrite, I just, in my head, I don't know if it's like a cocky thing or an arrogant thing, I try to think of like MSG full and how many people can sing along with it.
I don't think that's cocky. I think it's trying to understand how that music will translate, right?
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, the second that someone like sings your song, that's all I want. You know what I mean? I mean, the money's cool, but
sure.
But you know what I mean? Just there's nothing better. I mean, there's some equal stuff, but there's nothing better. Keep it PG. But there's nothing better than just seeing someone take something that you wrote on your phone, or you know, like Cambio. I was living with this girlfriend at the time, and she had issues sleeping. So I would wake up randomly in the middle of the night, and like if I woke her up, you know, it would be like a fight. Follow. So I remember I would go into the bathroom, and I'm just like, you know, whispering into my phone. And one day I'm looking at my voice like memos, and I'm just like, what's this? And I just hear myself going, damn it, you know, really whispering in the bathroom. And I'm like, yo, why didn't I work? You know, and then I started working on it, and then it's inspired by a band that I really like called Calle 13. So it's if you guys check them out, I mean they're huge and they're huge, period, but they're really big in, you know, Latino America, and South America. But and now it's more it's different. I am writing a new song, and I'm going back into the studio soon. And this one I wrote the lyrics first. I usually can hear the song in my head. Pablo's just better with me at being like, I'm like, hey, I want it to sound like this. Can you create the sound that I can't create? Because if not, like, there'll be electronics broken everywhere. You know what? I've never had the patience to be in front of a computer writing a song.
Right.
I admire people that can do it so much, but I just, you know, there's something that goes wrong for me, like either a cable's broke, you know, and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I just want to do the song. I know the song, you know what I mean? Like, so I just whispered into my phone, and then later on I'm lucky that I have people. Same with my graphic designers. Kind of like today I sent them an email. It's like I have people in my life that luckily I can tell them like what I need, and they somehow know how to like translate it into like whatever music comes out. And sometimes I hear it back and I'm like, yo, you made it better than I thought it was. You know, thanks. You know.
I mean, yeah, I think that's telling about art in general, especially in the modern space. Like, I mean, I'm a crazy person with 4 podcasts, and while I love doing all of them, if I had to do the graphics for them, if I had to figure out the promotion for all of them, like, I'm working on a lot of it, but like for every show but this one, they're on a network, and my friend does customized artwork per episode, and he does great, and he's really great in Photoshop, but it's like, if I had to do that, I would just throw my computer across the room.
I can't do it.
I know, I've tried, and it just doesn't work out. I can't do it.
And I find it's interesting also, artists and creators who make things a certain way. There are jacks of all trades who can do everything, but for the most part, you're usually better at one thing than other things, and I find that really fascinating, especially if you want to try and grow, especially since everything is so independent now, and we can do so much independently. You're kind of encouraged to do everything, and like you were saying about trying to make beats, like the last time I tried to do any kind of Photoshop, like, I almost threw my computer out a window. I couldn't, like, the layers and getting it right. And it's like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I've built computers, and like, I play video games, and like, I know IT. So it's not like I can't do the tech. It's just there are blocks, I guess, against certain things.
I get mad just at loading. Like the idea, like, it's gonna disappear. Hurry up.
Yeah. Like, what am I waiting for?
By the time I get like the tracks ready, like the, you know, like what instrument, I'm like, oh, there it goes. You know what I mean? See ya.
It's true.
So you both are in New York. You both play shows in New York?
Yes.
Often?
Yes.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. And do you have... So I guess my next question is, I like to ask performers, especially indie performers, if you have a favorite song to play. So like you were saying, The Air is Cold is a fan favorite, but do you have, each of you, favorite songs that you like to play, like that you like above other songs? I know it's like, you know, it's Sophie's choice. How do you choose your favorite song?
You go first.
I honestly played off the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm not even a fan. I almost dislike making playlists. Not playlists.
Set lists.
Yeah, set lists. Because I'm like, I'll write one and I never follow it. You know, unless like I knew, you know, I told her she's coming up with this song, and then I'm like, oh, now I gotta stick to the set list. You know, no, but I don't. I think that show, I was starting with a Spanish song.
You did? You started with Cambio.
But I was starting with Peligrosa, actually. The song I played
that's right. Yeah,
and
that's
then,
right.
But I looked at... No, that was I played a show with Little B.
Oh, okay.
And I looked at the crowd, I was like, I'm not going to get away with playing Peligrosa first. They're going to be like, get off this... You know, it's a hip-hop, you know, the hip-hop. So, and it worked that show, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it again. You know, I do like the... I usually used to like I don't know, my sets are kind of like a roller coaster, because it's like, you know, you get like Cambio, and then like then you're like chilling out, you know, on like a song like Outside or something like that. I play it off the crowd, to be honest. I do like doing the Chesky verse when I'm not nervous, because like he uses a lot of alliteration, so sometimes I feel like I'm covering a Chesky. It's like a little ode to him, because he's my homie, and actually to bring it back, he how I think I met MC Lars again is they know each other, and I think they've toured together.
Oh, okay, sure.
And because I remember when I talked to him, I was like, oh yeah, I know who he is, and this is like a couple of years back, and I'm like, oh, I used to listen to him when I was like, I think they played a show together, and then I saw MC Lars again 2 years ago when I was on Warped Tour.
Oh, okay.
And then that's when we really started like talking. But I would say the Chesky verse I enjoy doing, or I like playing when there's a lot of people in the crowd that I know don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I like doing a Spanish song just to be like,
just to kind of mess with them.
I got you.
Well, what I really do like love that about that EP is that you don't customize it for the audience. You customize it for you. Like you wanted to do these Spanish songs and these English songs, and you did them. And it's not because you're catering to one audience or the other. It's because you're catering to what you wanted to create, and that comes across in the live show. Like you also pushed, which I love. I always love audience participation because again, when I go to a show, I want to be in the front. I want to make eye contact with the performer. Like I want them to know that I'm enjoying the set. If I'm not enjoying the set, maybe I'll step back, or because I don't want to, I don't want to break the flow either. If it's just not for me, but like. And so what I loved about your set is that like you made tons of eye contact, you interacted, and you had tons of like call and response, and you made sure they knew it. And like your songs lyrically in points aren't complicated, especially in the chorus. And I think that's really to your benefit because then they can sing along, they can jump in. Like you only have to hear "Born in the City" once to know that chorus.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's a hard one. That's good.
and it's the flow of that chorus, though. I think that it's like it's the kind of this kind of rocking feel to it that like makes you just really easy to lean into, which I think is really great. And I totally got from the live set. What about you, Justine?
I want to take that. I want to try and do that.
The call and response?
Yeah, the call and response thing.
I live for it.
Oh man, you got to teach me. I think my favorite song to sing for me personally, without like a band, is "I Don't Like It." Mm-hmm. It's for some reason I feel it more when it's just me and I really get into it. But I think with a band, it is "Air Is Cold."
Yeah.
No. Yeah, "Air Is Cold." Yeah, definitely. Because it's fun and it's upbeat and people are like, oh yeah. But I want to learn that call and response thing.
I think it also, like when you craft a song, you don't think about a call and responance while you're crafting it, right?
No, I do.
Oh, do you really? That's really interesting.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm trying to see. You guys like sports people? Like,
sure.
Yeah.
So I always think of it, like the Seattle Seahawks have the 12th man. Mm-hmm. That's how I think of it. I'm like, hey, especially now that, I used to do call and response when I had a band, but now I'm like, I'm up here all alone. And to me, at least when I'm watching music, it's like there's only so long I can watch someone play guitar or someone like one person, or hear one voice. That's why I like adding other voice. I'm like, hey, these people don't even know me. I'm not gonna give them half an hour of listening to stuff that they don't know.
Yeah.
Let's switch up the timbre and then I'll come back. But no, I purposely write it with.
That's awesome.
I'm waiting. I'm like that's why I try like the Look Ma song, the a cappella song. Mm-hmm. I'll throw songs out that I'm working on to see if the call and response works, and it works on that one.
Okay.
So now I'm like, all right,
that's really interesting.
You know what I mean? Like
that's cool.
It's an experiment at the same time. I've only done that song twice, and if it works, I keep working on it, and if it doesn't, then I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you later. And maybe I'll come back to it.
Right.
But I write to get you included or anybody included, because back to the show thing is like, I think you paid $15 to come see me. I don't like dancing, but if a band, it's funny. I always say I'm not a dancer. I'm a singer.
Right.
But if you can get me to dance, like you at least me, you know what I mean. I'm like, damn, I like you. I'm
totally.
gonna go download that album right away.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality I go in. It's like, hey, this crowd is as much as the band as me. They're entertaining me. Not entertaining, but it's like, we're in this together.
Yeah.
So if I suck, I don't want to suck for you. You paid money. You know what I mean? It's like buying something at like a dollar store and it breaks. You know what I mean? I want to give you your money's worth, be it $1 or be it $100, and every time. Not money's worth, just I want you to experience something that you're not used to experiencing outside of this room.
Sure.
Because that's, I think, why we go to shows, or at least, why I go to shows. Like, hey, I had a hard day. I'm going to go listen to music. I need to feel either a certain type of way or a different kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to offer, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it does.
totally.
It makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, they don't work there. But there was a show once I was playing, and I just saw like a huge Confederate flag. And I was just like, I'm ready. I started with 3 Spanish songs just to sure.
Well, that you're gonna lean into it. Like if you know that there might be a block, you might as well just lean into it.
And by the end, they were singing "Born in the City," so I was just
awesome.
like, I get it. Like that's the especially like the shows I'm playing now. They are hip hop shows, and I don't really consider myself full hip hop. Like I was playing with P&B, And I'm like, whoa, this is not my crowd. But I'm like, you got to make them your crowd. You know what I mean? You got to teach people, you know, like this call and response is you have to teach. It's an education. You know, hey, I sing in Spanish, but you should know, not you should know, but it's like it would benefit you if you knew more Spanish. You know what I mean? Or at least it'll open you up to a whole new world of music if you listen to music in a different, be it French or any other language. You know, it's just educating people. You know what I mean? Like I used to get cranky when people used to not listen to my set or weren't paying attention. Like I used to get mad, and people don't want to see you mad on stage. You know, it's like you have to prove to them that you're having more fun than them.
Right.
And then they have the FOMO. You know, why is he having so much fun? And I'm the one drinking, or I'm the one doing this, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, cause I'm here. I've been working all this week leading up to the show to do this. So this is the 30 minutes that I get, and I have to give you everything. You know what I mean? And if you don't take it, sweet, but I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to try really hard for you to like it.
Well, that's like, I mean, current day, trying to exist on the internet in any capacity is all about engagement, which is what live shows have always been. But like, it's this new level now where you don't only have to engage them on the album and live, but now you have to engage them when they're not doing either of those things. When they're not listening to your album, or they're not seeing you live, they're doing something else, either on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and you have to meet them there too, because if you're not, they'll forget about you. Yeah. Or that's the theory anyway, right?
And you follow up to like, hey, thanks for coming to the show. I love talking to people after shows. I don't know if you do. Like,
no, I do too. I definitely do.
It takes a lot, but it's like, you know, I don't know. It's like I like hearing what people experienced. You know what I mean? Even if it's not from my set, you know, like the whole show is you know, I want to say, like, how'd you feel through like the JOATA, Schaefer, and MC Lars? Like, what you know? Did you like it? Was it worth it? Sweet. All right, maybe see you again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like, but no, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm going on a tangent now, but
no, you're good.
I love playing live, and I write music for that very, you know.
So the goal is to play the music live. You don't want to write things you
studio,
can't.
You know what I mean? I do not hate it. I just like, to me, studio, not necessarily torture. That's just like a stronger word, but to me, it's like it's like working out.
Yeah.
It's like I have to go to the gym.
You have to do that.
So I look, you know, not look, you know, so I can look, you know, or look good on stage. You know what I mean? Or like be on stage. You know, like nobody wakes. I mean, I'm sure somebody does, but I don't wake up being like, yes, I want to do 100 crunches this morning. You know,
right? Sure.
Or I mean, I love being in the studio because I know what it'll lead to.
Right.
But it's not my like favorite part of
your favorite
process.
part is the live.
Yeah, going out and like, hey, this is what I created, because I think that there's a band, and I'm not gonna say the name. There's a big band. Yeah. Like, you know, like they have a song called "Kids." That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And they're from Connecticut too, which is like, and I you know, and this is not throwing shade, but I love their music. But seeing them live doesn't ever do anything extra for me.
It just feels like you're seeing the album live.
Yeah, I should have just put on you know, AirPods and just chill out, you know. And I always feel that I that's exactly what I don't want to do. I don't want you to come and be like, even with playing with backtracks now, I'm always like, all right, you gotta push a little bit more, because you don't want it to sound just like, if not these people, why did you not stay home and play the record or play, you know?
Right.
So I think that's where the call and response comes. Hey, you heard it, now you're gonna sing it with me, you know. Now we're singing it together, you know what I mean?
What about you, Justine? Are you like all about the live performances as well?
Oh yeah, I love the live performances. I feel like that's where I feel most like myself in life in general. Studio part, it's fun, but it gets tedious and annoying, because you know, you want it to be perfect and you want it to be what you hear in your head. Right. But performance, when you really get into that and you like fall under that, like why do drugs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go out, go out there and perform. It's the best thing. I enjoy it so much, even though I do want to be more like you, Jose.
Don't be that. I want to be more like you. No.
Because I feel like my
everybody
music,
has their niche, their thing.
It's true. I feel like my music is more storytelling. Like I'm telling you a story, but I would love to have like a song where I'm like engaging people, like hey, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be great.
Do you feel like when you're writing your music, and clearly you're both writing music for the live performance, it sounds like while you like the process to getting to that, you prefer the process of performing it. Would you ever so you said before the a cappella song, you're testing that's not something you've recorded yet.
I mean, on my phone.
Well, on your phone, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't. But it's something you might hope to if you're happy with it.
It's gonna come out in May.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent, very cool. And so, do you do anything like that too, Justine, where you like kind of take newer songs for test drive during live
Yes,
performance?
I do that all the time. Because I'm working on an album now, so I've been doing that with like certain songs in the album.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see they're actually gravitating towards it, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is definitely going to be in the album.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that with like my recent single that I just released. Like, who was it? Like 2 days ago?
Skinny cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
You gotta tell me.
Yeah, I think it was
released
recent.
It on the 22nd.
Yes.
Oh, so I haven't.
So yeah, 2 days ago.
I haven't test drive that, but like what I was doing, I was playing like with guitar and like piano, short clips.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it up, and people were really enjoying those short clips. So
Right.
I was like, okay, and then
I mean, so that's still sort of testing it. It's just through different means.
Instead of like, but I have to perform it. I wonder when I'm gonna do that.
I'm curious because I know there are some songwriters who like all they can do is write music. Like they don't have much downtime. They like to use their downtime to just continuing to perpetuate their art. And then other artists need to come down off it, need to step away. Like I know a ton of the nerdcore rappers that I'm friends with. Like they'll play some video games or watch a movie. Or like, do you find yourself engaging in pop culture to decompress and step away? Does it just further influence your music? Like, what do you do outside of songwriting, if anything? And do you feel like it helps or hurts your songwriting?
Can I go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a really focused person. So if I focus on something, I just focus on it. But outside of music, Star Wars.
Nice. You're wearing an Empire Strikes Back shirt.
Huge Star Wars fan. So I'll read some books from Star Wars. I'll watch the movies, the shows, everything. Like I love this Star Wars time now because like new content is
so
just
much
coming
stuff.
out.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
You must have loved The Mandalorian.
Oh, I adored it. And then, oh my gosh, the child, Baby Yoda just comes out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So for me, it's Star Wars. It's music and then Star Wars.
That's really interesting. And do you? I mean, I didn't get a sense of any Star Wars in your album, but have you considered writing songs about Star Wars?
I have. I don't know why I haven't. This is the thing. I have no idea.
But you would do it. Like
Yes.
it's just you haven't found the right way to approach it
Yes.
yet. Oh, that's
Of course,
awesome.
of
That's really
course.
cool. I would love to hear like a folk rock song about the Mandalorian. I
Oh.
think that's like made for that, right?
Oh,
Because it's
yes.
kind of like a
Oh,
western.
yes. I'm gonna
I can
work
see
on
that
that.
actually. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on
Yeah,
that.
you got it. Yeah.
What about you, Jose?
I work too much, but
I mean, don't we all?
but I work. I don't know. Work to me has become just like a tool to push the music.
Yeah.
So I do think about music all the
the
time.
time.
I can't stop. Like even at work, like my coworkers are. I'm super lucky because my coworkers are like patient with me because we'll be in the middle. I work as an art handler, and we'll be in the middle of like doing like putting up art, and I'm like, yo, I gotta be right back, and I'm just in the bathroom like.
Yeah, just produce some songs.
Or anything to do with me. I love merchandising. Like I love merch.
Yeah.
So anything. I'm like, oh wow, that would be a cool like merch idea. Music. I work with my friend Ani. We have like this little collective called Panapen.
Okay.
So it's like Panapen Records. So it's like me, my friend Ani, who sings on Cambio.
Yep.
My friend Fernandito, who actually plays guitar in the background of Llévame, and my friend Rene Ghost, and we're all like Latinxers. And if I'm not working on my music, we're all helping each other kind of propel each other.
That's really
up.
cool.
And it's funny because all four of us make completely. We're all like Ani is like she's a singer songwriter, but she's kind of she's a little bit more. You have to listen. I'm really bad at like calling music like what
Right,
people,
genre,
yeah,
yeah.
genre. So I would say singer songwriter. She tells stories. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And she's very not very political, but she has like a political message that I admire a lot. Kind of like Cambio, that's why I was like, Cambio, Ani has to be on this. You know
Right,
what I mean?
sure.
Rene is kind of the same way. They're both like feminists and stuff like that. And Fernandito is like a surfer from Puerto Rico. So it's like he has also a message, but it's like we're all so different. Like same message, but very different than each other. So when I'm not working on music, I'm working on something that has to do with music.
Yeah.
I'm just enveloped now. The older I get, the more that I just don't want to do anything else, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally.
If I had my own day, I would be in the studio 8 hours a day, as much as I didn't like it. But
Sure.
I'd rather spend 8 hours in the studio than 8 hours working for someone else's dream, if that makes any sense.
No, totally. Yeah. I mean, I recently dialed back. I've been a DJ a long time, but I was DJing burlesque shows for many years, and I still am, but I'm fading it out because I'm focusing on promoting my podcasts and growing them because like they've organically grown well enough, but like if I actually spent all of my hours pushing into growing the audience, finding new ways to get people exposed to it, going to conventions, all that kind of thing. And so I get that. I get that once you find the thing you're passionate about, it's really easy to lean in and kind of forget. 2 of my podcasts are about video games, and sometimes I get so focused on engaging with video games for the podcast that I forget to enjoy games on my own and come down. And like, so then I'll have to like refocus and like, all right, well, like I was playing this game to like write a review or whatever. I'm going to play this different game to just like chill, like lay in bed and play my Nintendo Switch and just like relax,
Just chill,
just not do anything. And like, it's cool that like you have sci-fi, specifically Star Wars, that is so, at least currently, based on what I know of your music, so completely different that you can kind of bounce off if you're not either feeling it or not wanting to work on it into something else and kind of disappear into that.
It's like a stress relief for me, Star Wars, because I remember I did like a fast of Star Wars. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch Star Wars, look at anything, because I'm that big of a fan.
Right.
So I remember I was doing this, and I had such a hard time because Star Wars brings me like this kind of peace that sometimes making the music won't bring, because you'd be like, oh, this has to be this and this has to be that. So it's just so weird how Star Wars works for me.
Well, yeah, I think also you learn as you get older how to interact with your own brain, right? Like, at least for me growing up as an anxious person, like I know that like the weirdest thing, and I don't know if I've ever said this on the show before, if I go too long without listening to music, I get anxious and I get upset and depressed. Yeah. Like, and I'm a podcaster and a podcast nerd, so like I listen to dozens and dozens of podcasts, and like, but if I'm on my commute only listening to podcasts too long, I get like a little rattled. Because I'm also an emotional listener. Like if your song, whether it's really pretty, really sad, really happy, really angry, I cry a lot or just emote a lot while listening to music. If I'm angry, like nothing helps me vent depression or anger than music. And so like I just think it, and it's funny, I tweeted about this recently and a bunch of folks were like, you're not weird. Like that's common. Like a lot of people, if they have a thing that they really dive into to either help them relax or help them work, without it, things start to kind of unravel. I want to know about something that you've not done with your music yet that you want to do, either a genre or someone you'd love to feature, or like something you'd like to write about, like we were talking about you writing about Star Wars before. Like, is there something that you haven't done yet that you really want to do, but you're still in the beginning stages of figuring out how the hell to do it?
All of those things that you said.
Yeah.
Feature, I could feature someone. Ooh. I don't know, Princess Nokia came in first, but Travis Scott, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, that would be he'd be great.
I will say, I guess I can say here, I am talking to Joe about a JOATA patent pending collaboration.
That would be amazing. That'd be great. I love Joe.
That. To me, the features thing, I'm not trying to shoot for like some pop star or whatever. I want to shoot for what I care about.
Yeah.
For me, like Lars and I are also working on a track here, and
course.
to me those matter because I'm like, hey, these I want to tell a story that's like authentic and mine. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Just to like, if I paid someone to be on my track just for the clout or whatever, I don't want to be a clout chaser.
No.
I'd rather be like, hey, I have a song with patent pending. And like, who's patent? I'm like, well, these guys that influenced me when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And there's a whole story behind it, which people want to hear stories. I think that's what music's kind of about. I'd love to play MSG. That's what I'm working towards.
Sure.
Or Barclay. Every time the studio I record is Barclay, and every time I'm always like, one day, dude, I'm gonna be you're gonna see my little name, that's really just as big as I can, like. Yeah. Or be like Protozoa and Xenon and play in space or something.
There you go.
That'd be
do that. What about you, Justine?
Me, for feature, I would love to work with like either Mumford & Son or Post Malone.
Sure, I can see
that.
That
would be cool. Yeah.
That would be
cool. That would be great, and I feel like the genre I want to dive into more because I feel like I'm really like in the folk zone.
Yeah.
I want to dive into more pop and hip hop.
Sure.
I really want to get into there. So for play, I would love to play one day at Red Rock. I feel like
that would be
that'd be
That's on my list.
That's like top of my list, like
totally.
there, because I remember I saw this video. I forgot what band was playing. I was like, one day I'm going to play there. One day. I would just put that in my mindset.
Something I haven't asked either of you. How long have you been writing or playing music? Is it something you've been doing since you were little or something that you came into when you were older in college?
You want to go first? Or?
Okay, I go first. Well, I was told that I've been singing since I was like 5 months. I've been told by people,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you would like mouth the words like in baby language, but you would do it. I didn't start writing. I didn't start playing guitar until I was 14. So I was my first guitar, and then I didn't start writing up until I was 16. And I've just been writing and playing from there. But I didn't start really performing up until 2018.
Okay.
So I've really been doing this since 2008. Like 2
half,
years now. Yeah.
But you've been doing it for a long time. But
Yeah.
you were waiting. I mean,
just in my room, just
Sure.
like doing, but I've been doing it for a while.
but that's something people talk about, right? Like you could release the first thing you make, especially nowadays, or
Yeah.
you could make 10 things and release none of them because you shouldn't, and then move on to use that to fuel the things that grow. Like, if I could destroy the first 50 episodes of this podcast when I was recording on like a shitty phone mic or like, but you can't, right?
Oh.
And also, it was part of the learning experience.
There's
but
a value in that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's important also to recognize that if you've been doing something a long time, but you haven't been releasing it for a long time, that means that's because you're honing in and you know that you need to refocus and focus on what you want to put out before you do. What about you, Jose?
I don't know if this answers the question, but I was thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
What's interesting now, I'm 32 now, and I'm like, I found myself reverting back to stuff that I did as a kid.
Yeah.
Like now I'm playing hip hop. Like I'm always like, yeah, young Jose would be like, damn, I have to wait this long. Like I would, if I wanted to be hip hop, whatever. And now I'm playing these every show that I have from now until August. It's a hip hop show.
Oh, wow.
And then like you were talking about video games. I used to love video games, and then I just I grew out of it. Not grew out of it. I just
It wasn't
I
a
started
priority.
doing sports,
Yeah.
and so I didn't really have. But now I'm finding myself, I don't play, but I watch video. My buddy Adrian has a channel, Adrianic, on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube.
But I think
cool.
he's now starting to do the Twitch. I'm out of the loop on that stuff. But I'm finding myself that I'm like, I'm like, damn, I want to buy a PS4. I want to start playing video games.
Sure.
And it's weird. I'm just reverting back to everything that I used to do as a kid. I've come full circle.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's just even with the music I'm making, I'm like, I'm making hip hop. That's what I was trying to make when I was,
And did you write lyrics and like try and make hip hop
if
when
I
you were a
ever
kid?
showed you, this is the first song I ever wrote. Oh my god, I even think I said the N-bomb. That's what's
Oh
Really?
no!
But I was like, I'm from Hartford. I used to
Sure.
have cornrows. Like I was
Yeah.
a whole different, I
Totally.
was like ignorant and stuff like that.
I mean, we all make mistakes.
And I
when we're
grew,
younger.
and I just grew up in that environment.
Totally.
Nobody
Yeah.
ever,
I get it.
never really talk about that. But and it's and now I listen back and I'm just like, yo, chill. But I used to sing in a church choir when I was so my dad's a pastor and my family's Pentecostal. I wouldn't find myself as religious as them.
Right.
But I just think division divides too much. But I remember it used to be an issue that I used to be a singer in an Episcopalian church. And what was funny is you had to try out for that church, and I got paid. I think I was like 7. And I always remember I got paid like $9 a month. And I used to think I was like, every time I got that check, I was
Just
like,
be like,
yo.
high roller.
Yeah, like even now sometimes I'm like, damn, that check was more than I made at this show. But even it was funny. I always remember if I was a soprano. That's how long ago this was. Wow. And I was so jealous that this kid moved up to alto, so they gave him like a can of Altoids, and I was just, I want a can of Altoids, not realizing that like what was going on. This kid, like he was just 7, this kid's like 13, so his voice is starting to drop. But anyways, all my life, I consider myself very lucky because since I was like 16, I knew that I'm going for it.
You're just gonna do it.
And if you ask anybody around me, like, no, he was always he was gonna do music, and there was nothing that was gonna stop. I'm still. Like, sometimes I pride myself. I'm like, hey, there's a lot of people that I know that have dropped off and stuff like that. I'm like, but I'm still.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting older, but I'm happy and I feel young, and I'm still making music. I'm still doing what I love.
As you should.
I think as long as it's still bringing you joy,
Yeah.
and it's not to your own detriment, although
Yeah.
sometimes it will be. Like, I feel like that's the key, right? Like I mentioned earlier that I was scaling back my DJing so I can focus on podcasting. It's not that I don't like DJing anymore. It's that that's not the thing that brings me the most joy in this moment. So I'm going to lean into the thing that does. And I think that even when it's how you're writing, I assume, or like when you're performing, like you want to lean into the thing that's giving you joy.
Yeah.
You still got to do the work, but leaning to those things that are bringing you joy probably make that stuff a lot easier.
Oh yes.
do you think that you would change your music direction if you saw that, like, for example, so your EP has a ton of different genres, and you pride yourself on how you don't kind of define that, you just make the music you want to make. If you found that one of them got better response than the other, would you lean into that, or you'd still continue to diversify?
I would depend on my mood.
Sure.
Yeah. At the same time, I do think initially it did not hurt me, but it did slow my growth, I guess, in the pop or just being cool, I guess, quote unquote. because initially, I remember when I used to write Spanish music, not that nobody was doing it, but it wasn't what it is now. Like Latinx music became like reggaeton, kind of brought it back, and people like Bad Bunny made it like now it's everybody's listening to it. And even though back then I always wrote in both languages, and I always just prided myself on that. So no, I wouldn't change it. I do, and I wouldn't really focus on one genre because I just don't think I possibly physically.
You don't think you're capable?
You know what I mean?
Well, it's legit.
In my head, when you were saying something that I want to do, I'm like, I do want to do like a screaming song one day. You know what I mean?
Like Screamo almost.
Not like that, or like an emo, like Taking Back Sunday.
Oh,
vibes,
sure.
You know
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Like My Chemical Romance or something like
totally.
that. Like I still, that's what I grew up with, and I still like, everything comes back around eventually.
Sure.
And no, Chesky has a line that I can't remember right now, but it's like, I don't want to go for the trend. I just played a show and everybody was doing like what's trendy, and I was so proud that I stuck out, and maybe I wasn't like as cool, but I don't really care. I don't like, not to be like judgmental, but I'm like that whatever musician that was, it's like, I'm like, cool, man, you made like your another cookie cutter thing that nobody's gonna remember.
Right, that in 10 years will disappear.
Yeah, and not maybe 10 months, but but like I feel like when you come to a show of mine and stuff like that, you're gonna get, even if I play like a 20-minute set, you're gonna get something out of it because of the wave of genre that's hitting on you. But that also, like I said, not going to say stunted my growth, but also gave me like because everybody's like, oh, what kind of music do you make?
Well, you can't put you in a box.
I don't know. Like, come to a show and you'll see. You know what I mean? Like.
And I know, like, at least for your most recent record, it tends to be within a similar genre, but you do branch out. Like, some things are heavier. Like, the final track on the record is definitely much heavier than everything else on the album.
Oh, yes.
Would you consider leaning into that and doing a full record that's kind of a darker or heavier sound, or do you like diversifying the way you do?
I like diversifying. I feel like it's fun, because why stick to the genre when you could try so many? And there's so many genres you could try. So I'll always diversify it, because I grew up listening to everything. You know? So always diversify.
And life diversifies you anyways.
Right, sure, yeah. You can't just do one thing. I think it's more fascinating when, like, if you meet an artist who plays punk rock, who listened to punk rock, who grew up with punk rock, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you meet someone who plays punk rock, who grew up listening to hip hop, who grew up listening to rock and roll, like the reason I think Lars identifies with so many people, like, people latch onto his stuff, is because he grew up listening to punk rock and hip hop and rock and roll and pop music, and he's not afraid. And he's not afraid to lean into any of that. And I think that's really important. I think when you're creating anything, it's better to let your influence show than to just try and fit into a box, because then sure you'll check off that one thing, but then you're missing out on everything else around it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Of course.
Totally. The last thing I wanted to ask before we start to wrap up is advice. It's cheesy, but I like, especially with newer artists or artists who are just starting to find their footing and figuring out what they really want to do. What advice would you give to an indie artist now that maybe you didn't know when you first started making music or writing music? Something that you didn't even think of that now you'd be like, this is a thing you should do or look out for.
You want to go first?
No, you go first.
Don't give up. No, that's what's cheesy too.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna curse. Just fucking do it. If you think about it, do it, because you're not gonna know if it works or not until you do it, and you're gonna like dislike yourself for not trying it out. Because it's like and I think this is like where my scientist brain comes in from. It's just like, it's like guess and check. It's like, oh, does this work? No. Nothing is gonna happen if it doesn't. You're
not gonna die if you.
And if you get booed, how I've had people. I remember I had a flyer once at the University of New Haven looking for a drummer, and someone wrote on the flyer like, you should become a better band to get a better drummer. And I'm just like, one, be nice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, you never know what someone's going through, and you never
Yes.
know who's going to make it. You know what I mean? It's
Totally.
what you think is cool doesn't mean that someone else is going to think is cool. Be open-minded. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's easy, but it's going to be fucking hard. You know what I mean?
yes.
Totally.
You're going to feel up, you're going to feel down. But it's like, the more it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. Just don't get discouraged. People are gonna try to tear you down, and people are gonna bring you up. You know what I mean? Just the best advice. My friend Ashley Hamill, she's a musician as well. Focus on the people that like are bringing you up, because we tend to focus on like people that are tearing you down.
Sure.
Or, like all that. Like when you look at your your negative reviews, like we tend to look at the negative reviews, and I'm like, hey, I suppose like you gave me a negative review and you two gave me a positive review, if I spend my time like focusing on your negative review, I've wasted their time and their positive, it's like, oh, we believed in you and I focused on you when I should be focusing on them. So focus on the positive part of it, even when it gets dark, and if you need help, ask for help. And advice, just aside from the music thing, it's like, just make sure you just check your mental health. You know what I mean? That's very important.
Legit.
Don't be afraid to ask for help and just write about it. Just write about every experience, because my buddy was asking me the other day, so, how do you get people to listen to you? I'm like, what I've learned, it took me a long time to learn it, is that what I've gone through, there's 7 billion people in this world. Someone else has gone through that.
Yeah, totally.
And they're just waiting for someone to like find that message. And you can be that. You don't have to be like like a savior, but you can share that message and have that conversation with that other. It takes when you make someone like sing a song, or just like they come up to you, like, hey, your song really changed me. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? Because people are they don't want to be. You're putting them in a vulnerable spot, and people usually don't want to be. They want to be closed off, and it's like, hey, I don't want to tell anybody that I need help or whatever. But I've been very lucky, and I extremely lucky. My mom was always like, you always get in the deepest trouble, and for some reason you always come out like either ahead or like just like it's like I can't even fathom it. And I just have a good group of people around me, and I've had my I'm not perfect. I've made my mistakes, and you learn from it. And you just put people around you that you believe in, and they'll believe in you, and they'll pick you up when you fall. And you do the same thing for them. But don't give up. That's the thing that it's like, if there's two people, I've played to the other band, or I've played to the sound guy. And I played a show just now to like 900 people, and it's like, play every show like there's like it is MSG, because you don't know who's watching. And last night, like, don't wait on the like, oh, there's a label that's gonna sign me. Do it yourself. Do it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, kind of we were talking about earlier with the hey, be a jack of all trades. For a little bit, you have to kind of be it. Even if your fire's shitty, the shittier it looks, the better it kind of. It's like, hey, I made this. You know what I mean? Be proud of it, and just stand by it. Don't be shy. I mean, if you're a shy person, be shy. But I'm just saying, just like. It's you are putting yourself out there, and that's a lot more than most people are doing.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's it. Sorry.
What?
You literally said everything that I say all the time.
I wrote it earlier. No.
I wrote it down. No, I like everything he said is correct. That's the point, and the mindset. I can't speak. The mindset that I live by, because it's important to never give up, and it's important to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
I don't really need to say much because he gave it all. Like, do what makes you happy. Keep working at it. If this doesn't work, doesn't matter. You try something else. Even if it doesn't work, just wait. If it doesn't work, it might work. Spanish didn't work for me at first, and now it works.
Totally.
It's like just try it. Yeah. It's what do you have to what do you have to lose for real?
Being kind thing is important.
Yes,
be
I
kind
agree.
to everyone.
You never know who's listening.
And
always be nice to your sound guy.
Oh, always.
Always.
Oh my god.
Always give him a shot. I always try to. I'm really bad with names, and always like try to remember the sound guy's name. But
it's funny when he said be vulnerable. It's true, because I would never forget that last song in the record, Insomnia. I come from a Christian, like my parents are Christian and everything. I'm Christian as well. I remember I wrote this song, and they were like, "Oh, but why are you talking about demons? Why are you talking about insomnia? These are darker things." But in my point of view, why not speak about those darker things?
You have to
Because
confront
everyone
it.
is going through that.
Yeah.
And I remember I played it for the first time, my first show ever. As Justine Grove, I played for the first show ever. I forgot, it was in January 2018. I remember I played the song, and my dad was like, why'd you play that? But then this girl came up to me, she's like, that last song you played, Insomnia. I cried because I deal with that all the time. And I was like, this is why. And
That's
you know, I
powerful.
do music for myself, for my self-healing,
course.
but I also do it for everyone else. Because you never know who needs to hear what they need to hear. Because some people feel alone. Because, like,
Yeah.
in my lifetime, I've done things on my own. And I've been alone. So it's weird because, like, these last couple of years, I've been around people.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm just by myself, doing things by myself. So it's good to have other people around you. And it's good for people to understand that they are not alone in the things that they go through, which is so important.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm all for the anti-racism, but I'm also all for the mental health as a taboo.
Yeah.
I agree. Everyone should be in therapy
Yeah.
for some period of time.
Or
You may
like-
not always need it, but like everybody
Yeah.
Should just, you know,
needs someone to talk
be
to.
open to, hey, can I talk to, you know, it's
Yeah.
like,
This has been great. Before I have you sign off the show, I want to first let you both say where people can find you, the best place to follow you, and the best place to buy your music.
thank you. I always forget this.
Yeah, that's
You go
why.
first.
Well, I'm Justine Grove, and the place to follow me where I really interact with everybody is my Instagram is at Justine Grove Music. You could find my music on all streaming sites.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what you got for me. Yeah.
JOATA.
Yeah.
Spell it out. Spell it out.
J-O in Spanish or in English?
Both.
J-O-A-T-A. No, J-O-A-T-A. You can find me on all streaming platforms as well. I do lean on my Instagram more than I lean on my or everything else. But it's Hola JOATA, so H-O-L-A. Hola means hello. No.
Yeah.
Hola, H-O-L-A-J-O-A-T-A.
Yeah.
Buy my music on Bandcamp because
Yeah. Do it.
that's where I can actually use it to keep myself on tour. And one last thing.
Sure.
You were saying how you listen to podcasts. My attention span is so bad that I don't listen to, you know. But when I'm on tour, I listen to a lot of stand-up comedy. Because it's like the stories I get, you know, I get wrapped up in the story. So I'm like, you know, driving and I'm laughing. You know, it's just like, I just need to, like, after a while, like, if you're on an 8-hour drive, 8 hours of music, sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm doing 8 hours of music and I'm about to play a show and listen to, like, 3 hours. I'm like, let me listen to, like, Mitch Hedberg or let me listen to,
Mitch
like,
Hedberg.
you know, I just need something that I want to hear a story that's fun. You know, so I need something to just to, but it's still music in a way to me.
It's
maybe
musical,
it doesn't. It doesn't have like the I guess instruments, but it does have like a cadence and a rhythm to it and stuff like that. But that's for all. But JOATA. Thank you for having us.
Of course. The last thing I'll ask you to do is we have a saying on the show, which is music is life and life is good. The idea behind it originally was what it says. If music is life and life is good, life with music is good. But I've expanded it because I've had people besides musicians on here that if you're making, creating, or engaging with good art, life is good.
Yeah.
Even with what's going on around you, the trash fire that our country is, all of that stuff, you can still be good with good art. So I will entrust JOATA to say music is life, and then Justine Grove to say, and life is good. So would you do that for me to sign off the show?
So much pressure. You know what I'm saying? Ready? Music is life.
And life is good.
That's it for this episode of Crash Chords Autographs. Our theme music is by Michael Kill. Our logo was designed by Case Aiken and Joey Amons. If you liked the show, please rate and review us on iTunes and Facebook. You'll help us reach more listeners. Questions, comments, or guest recommendations? Email matt.storm@crashchords.com or hit us up on Twitter @CrashChordsWeb. Thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Victor Devon, and I am the host of We Burlesque, the podcast. Every Monday, I talk to fabulous denizens of nightlife, including burlesque performers, both seasoned and new to the form, drag performers, performance artists, DJs, and artists who make up their respective scenes. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Please visit WeBurlesque.com to check out episode recaps and see all the formats available. And remember that music is life. Life is good.